everybody, Diana here at Sew in Common. Gosh, I was out in the wind. I got a little wind blown outside. It's such a beautiful day here in Illinois. Some of you might know I live just like southeast of Chicago in northeastern Illinois. And it's a gorgeous day, and we're due to have another gorgeous week, so I love it. But as always, welcome to this episode of Sew in Common. So today's going to be kind of a little bit of a two-parter, and I'll tell you why as we go on. But I love having you all watch, and thank you to all the new subscribers. I mean, sincerely, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You guys have been incredible this week. We have added over 40 new subscribers this week, and a lot of them just today. So thank you all so much. And I hope that you continue to enjoy the content that I'm bringing to everybody on quilting and on machine embroidery, and sometimes quilting that is done on your embroidery machine, which is kind of what we're going to talk about a little bit today. So if you like this video or any of my others, please click on that subscribe button and the little bell to set your notifications so that you know when I add new content. Thank you so much. And of course, as always, you can check out my blog and my patterns and things over at my website, sewincommon.com. So today, like I said, it's kind of a two-parter a little bit, because I want to talk about today is a quilt with me idea. So this is really a quilt with me episode, quilting with machine embroidery, or should say piecing with me, because today we're really starting a process about piecing with machine embroidery. Now, I did a very beginner piecing video a little while back, maybe a month or so ago, which you can go and check out if you're brand new to piecing in the hoop. But today I want to talk about the idea of using templates when we piece in the hoop. So when we do a more traditional form of quilting on our sewing machine or by hand, we do cut out all of our pieces, right? And then sew them together. With quilting in your embroidery machine, piecing, you really need to kind of do the same thing. Now, you could do more of a, just put a big hunk of fabric there, sew it down, and then trim around it. But actually, I find that to be kind of a waste of your fabric. So I like the idea of doing pre-cut pieces. And for those pre-cut pieces, when you're working on your embroidery machine, you really need to use a template. Now, what I'm going to show you today has to do with a pattern that I'm going to do a video on this week for us. I'm actually starting it. I just need to finish writing it up. Designing a pattern, writing a pattern, doing a sample of the pattern, that takes a little bit more time than I can do just in a couple of days. And this was kind of a busy week for work and all. So this video for the pattern will probably come out, I'm going to guess it'll be out by Wednesday afternoon at the latest. So just keep an idea of that, because it has to do with autumn, right? Autumn's here. Fall arrived this last week, or a week and a half ago, maybe now. Gosh, has it been that long already? And so it's going to be a maple leaf. So do you want to see it before we get going? Let me add my share screen and bring up. There we go. So that is the block that I'm preparing for you guys. It'll be, the video will walk through how to make it in the hoop of your embroidery machine. It's just a maple leaf. And then you will be able to get that pattern and those, the design files and all the instructions over on my website for a very minimal amount for this pattern, because you can also turn that one block into a beautiful wall hanging or table runner, just like you see here, by making 4 of those blocks. So that's what's coming your way later in the week. So I thought I would just go ahead and show that to you, get you a little inspired to get going. Maybe you can start picking out what fabrics that you want to use for the maple leaf. So you'll see the fabric that I'm using when we go over to my cutting table, because I figured out how to be able to show you my cutting table while we're doing our videos and our lives now. So it seems like every little week I'm learning new technical things, which I'm surprised I have still room in this old brain, but I guess I do. So I will be showing you that here in a moment, but you can pick out your colors if you want to do that 4-block mini wall hanging, or you could use it as a table mat. You could even do a variegated or a gradient of colors. Start with green and work your way around to like a brown or something, green, yellow, orangish, or reddish, and then a brownish color if you wanted to do it like that. We'll talk about more of that kind of thing in the other video, but you have a few days to get that going. Here's the other thing I want to ask you all. If you all would like to start seeing lives where you can interact and ask questions, would you please comment below? Because I would love to start doing lives, but I want to make sure it's something that everybody wants to see, right? And so for this little project, we could have done a live. So maybe for the next one, okay? So today we're going to talk about, though, the idea of using templates, because there's a couple of ways you can do them. So let me take you right under my camera. I'm going to do a share screen for you all again. Gosh, I have a lot of screens open. So right here, sorry, that's a cord to another camera. So right here, when you print out your template pieces, so this is for a small half square triangle and a medium and a large half square triangle, you can print them out on paper or on another product that I will show you. But the nice thing about the templates that we use for our in the hoop work and piecing is that they come with these engineered corners. So guess what that means? No dog ears that we have to worry about. Do you guys see this? Isn't this the weirdest thing you've ever seen? I just got this a few weeks ago. It's supposed to be like stiletto for using with your embroidery machine. So you've got that little point right there, and it just, actually, I think this one's supposed to go on my middle finger because it fits there a little bit better, but you can adjust it and all. If you've tried one of these silly little looking things, would you let me know and let me know how you feel about it? I just got mine and I'm just starting to use it, but it does make a good pointer for this stuff, right? So what I love about these are the engineered corners, so that when we sew them together, we don't have to worry about dog ears. And I love not having to worry about that. And all your pieces will come that way. And do you notice something else about these? All of these have a number on them according to its piece, what piece it is in the square that these are from. These have been kind of semi cut out because I've cut them to use over at the other table, but that's what your templates are going to look like. Okay, so let's go back now to our main screen. We'll remove that. There we go. And so now I thought we could go over to my cutting table and take a look at the two different ways you can use, or two different products you can use for templates, and talk about that. And I'll even cut a few for you because I want to also show you some tools that I use for the actual cutting. So let me bring up the other screen and put it in this mode and slide that over and make that big. Now you're going to see my empty chair because I'm about to walk around to the other side of the room. What you're seeing here, that's my cutting table. Let me get over there. All righty. Here we go. Gosh, let me clean this up a little. Whoops. Hang on, my camera just disconnected. Let me reconnect it. That's not a problem. Let's see here. What does it say? I'll need to do something. Okay, there we go. Sorry, guys. There we go. We've muted the microphone. Now, I should be able to bring up the camera. Why? The camera says it's on. All right, hang on. It's probably, oh, it's flipped out of the camera. There we go. There it is. Perfect. All righty, there we go. Let's slide that over. Perfect. All right, sorry about that, guys. You know, technology, we do our best, right? But at least we're able to get that back on. So here we are under my camera. And this is the fabric that I'm going to use for my maple leaf. This, if you want to know, is a Kimberbell basic. I love Kimberbell fabrics, and this particular pattern comes in several colors, but I love it. I know that Kimberbell Fabrics is made by Maywood Studios. Check with your local shops. They may already carry all the Kimberbell basics. If not, I'm sure they can probably order it for you. So let's set this aside for just a second and let me show you some of these templates. So in the stem of our little maple leaf, we need a couple of different templates. We need this rectangle. We need this tiny little baby half square triangle. Let me bring this down a little bit so you can see it a little bit larger. There, that's better, huh? All right. And then you also need a medium. So when I put the pattern out for the maple leaf, everybody, you're going to get a file that will allow you to print your templates. All right. So you're going to get your digital files and your template files. But that's what I needed for the maple leaf, or for the stem of the maple leaf. And then I have, now you're going to ask me, why in the world are you doing just the solid blocks, Diana? That's because I like to have all of my blocks with a no-show mesh stabilizer on the back. That helps give them a little longevity in there. It's a very lightweight stabilizer, but it helps them hold up over time. So I, as someone who actually works with old quilts, vintage quilts, a lot of times what you have to do is restabilize those old fabrics. So I like a light no-show mesh stabilizer for it. So I do it on all of my blocks as I piece in the hoop, even just a solid square. We'll talk about that more in the other video as well. So, and you can see they all have a number on them. And then these are all done from just regular copy paper. So let me set them out of the way and bring my fabric back in, because I want to show you how I use that. So here is my half square triangle that I need to make for the half square triangles in the pattern. And so how I did this one is paper. This is not my favorite way to use a template, but it absolutely will work. Let me just peel it off. The one thing I don't like to do with paper templates is pin them on, because pins will give you a bubble. Let me just put this pin in here and I'll show you what I mean. It's going to give you a bubble. See how that's no longer laying flat and there's that little bubble underneath, which can make your piece off a little bit, your size off a little bit. So if you're going to use paper, which is fine, if that's what you want to use, that's perfectly okay. Use a very lightweight temporary spray, something like 505 temporary adhesive. And I mean, just give it a little whoosh. Don't go crazy with it, right? Just whoosh, like that. Did you like that sound effect? And then just stick it on and then reuse it as often as you want to make sure that it's going to that it is going to stick on there for you. And then we'll cut this out in a moment, but I want to show you real quick the other type of material you can use for templates, and that is a product called Print and Stick Target Paper. It's made by Designs in Machine Embroidery. And what I love about it, I always cut a notch in it because it will help me get it off the fabric later on. But it will go through your laser or your inkjet, and it's sticky on the back, and it's very sticky. This one piece I could probably use for all 4 of the blocks if I were going to make the little maple leaf table topper or wall hanging that I just showed you. And then see, it just sticks down right on your piece. And then because it's pretty sticky, I like to use that little notch that we cut in it to lift it off, and then I can reuse it as often as I want. Now, I'll show you that here in just a second. Let me just stick my little, because this is actually for a different pattern, this particular half square triangle. So this is the dime print and stick target paper. It comes in a package of 25. You can find this at any local fabric shop that carries Dime products. I think you can also look at Dime's website. They may have it for sale there. You can check any of your online retailers. They might be able to have, they may have it for you as well if they carry Dime products. So that's what I use. And so it is, like I said, you get 25 full-size sheets. This matte side, that's the side that gets printed on. And this glossy side, that's the backing paper. So when we're using it and I put it back on, I put it on the really glossy side. If I put it on this kind of matte glossy side, it'll stick to it and it won't come off after a while. So I just put it back on there to reuse it. And the other thing, so that's print and stick target paper. I prefer print and stick target paper. I find that I get more use out of it. It stays in place even a little bit better than just paper with the sticky spray on the back. But either way is fine. It's completely up to you. So the other thing I'll show you about templates while we have this one here is see how this has the number 4 in a circle? Because when I'm doing my pattern is going to tell me how many of these things I need to create, how many template pieces I need to make. So I write that right on my template piece. Now for this one on the paper, I don't, because it kind of tends to, the marker sinks through. So when I use these paper pieces, I just make myself a little cheat sheet and then I just mark them off as I go. But on the actual print and stick target pieces, I just write everything I need to know right on there and it won't seep through and get all over your fabric. So I like that. So those are the two methods you can use for creating your templates. You're going to get the file so that you can print it out, and whether you print it out on print and stick target paper or copy paper, entirely up to you. Now I want to show you, before we do the actual cutting on that half square triangle, because it's coming, I want to show you the products I use when I'm doing my print or my cutting. Okay, so let's get these all under here. So one that I love to use, and when I use this, it's because I'm going to take a whole bunch of fabric and templates that are prepared with the print and stick target paper on them into the living room, and I'm going to sit there and cut out my quilt pieces at night while we're watching telly. I love to do that, and the print and stick target paper works great for that. The sticky copy paper will tend to come off more easy, so I don't use that if I'm going to take my fabric into the living room in order to do my cutting. But the Karen K. Buckley scissors, my choice, bar none. Mainly, I love the grip and all, but mainly for that serrated blade. The micro serrated blade will help you your fabric from fraying, and you're going to get a super crisp, clean cut every single time. So you can cut out with those. Or if I'm here at my cutting table, I still use my ruler and my rotary cutter. However, and this is just, I'll just tell you, this is my favorite ruler. It's a 3 by 12 inch quilt. What is the name of it? Quilting Select. Quilters. Yes, quilterselect.com. Couple of reasons I like it. It's very clearly marked with all of your little sub marks, and has that kind of a filmy, it's not film, but there's something on here, but it makes it look cloudy a little bit, and that is your non-stick so that it doesn't slide around really badly on you, which I really like. So that's my favorite ruler, if anybody cares to know. But in regard to my rotary cutter, normally we always use a 45 millimeter rotary cutter blade, right? I use the one with the grip. I like the way I can lock it. Once I figured out that I could put the blade on this side, because they come for right-handers, but you just switch your blade over to the other side, and us lefties can use it too. And so I like it, kind of like using pizza cutter a little bit better, more. But I have tons of rotary cutters, so that's the handle I happen to be using now. But I like using the 28 millimeter when I'm cutting out my templates because the smaller blade will help me to have more precision in my cutting. I can get into slightly tighter spaces with it and get a more accurate cut that way. So let's actually bring in our piece one more time and finally do the cutting, and let me show you what I do. So I'm going to go ahead and use my rotary cutter on it. And the first thing I like to do, you can cut your pieces apart so that you're working on single pieces if you like, but I prefer to leave them all on the bigger piece of fabric and use as little fabric as I can. So right here, you see I've got a big gap here of fabric. That doesn't work for me. I like, if I can, to put one edge on the edge of my fabric. One, it's going to help control fraying. And two, I'm going to waste less fabric. Now, because this is kind of a raggedy cut edge up here a little bit, I'm not going to put it up to that edge, but I put it up close. So the first thing I do with my little rotary cutter is, actually I'm going to put on my magnifiers there so I can see it, is I'm just going to come in and I'm just going to cut it off. And I just cut right off the edge of that fabric. So I have one done. Now I'm going to come around and I'm going to do another dog ear right there. You don't have to do it this way. I just find that doing it this way, then when I do my long run cuts, then it just pops right out. It's just a little bit easier for me. And then I'm going to do that one right there. So now all I have to do is I have to cut the long run on this side and this side. So that's where the template comes in. Now, with your template, now I'm left-handed, folks, so if you're right-handed, you're going to be doing this from the other direction, right? You all understand that process. When you use your template ruler, or your ruler, I like it better because I'm still, let me close this for a second, I'm still doing my rotary cutting against this edge. I personally don't like, except for my little dog ears, which are very tiny, doing it this way. My hand doesn't stay steady enough, and that's when I end up cutting right off onto my template and ruining the whole kit and caboodle. So I put this right on the edge of my template so that if I'm looking at my template on this side, I cannot see the paper, okay? That tells me that I'm right on that edge and I'm not decreasing the size of my template as I go. And then I just make one clean cut. And because I've already cut my little dog ear there, I'm done right there. And so right now I can just go cut that little string off, and that can go in the waist. Now I'm going to turn this around this way, and we're going to cut this long edge. And that way, when I peel this template off, I can still reuse it many, many times. And it just takes a second of your time to make sure you've got a good line up there. You know, it always helps sometimes to take a little patience with yourself. And I just cut right off the edge there, and it got rid of that little triangle there. And I've got a little thread there. There we go. Now, right there, that's my piece. So now all I do is come under here and I just peel it off. And because it's a temporary adhesive, there's no, I mean, you can see it's not sticky on the fabric at all. So there is one of my triangles done. I've got my little engineered corners to get rid of my dog ears. And then now I just take this and I line it up on that cut edge. Yeah, I think that'll be okay. And I'm ready to cut my next piece because this is stuck down nice. Now with your paper ones, if they ever when they start to lose their stick, you could give them another shot. Unless they're kind of wrinkled up, then you might want to use a new template. But that is doing your templates with a rotary cutter. and your ruler. Here is my Karen K. Buckley's. Now I'm just coming in here and I'm just going to snip off my little, I don't do the same thing with my dog ears on here. It's a little harder to do. I mean, I can't do that on that inside edge, right? But I can come in here and, excuse me, and come right up next to there and cut it. And see, the sticky has started to come off of that one just a little bit. So I'm going to try and, yeah, hang on. I'm going to need to do a little extra stick on it. Give me just a second to turn around here. See, you heard that? It was just a swoosh, swoosh, and done, right? So let's put this back on this. Actually, we were over here, right? There we were. Let's stick that down nicely. There, that's good. And now I can come in and cut. Part of it is because I have to hold this up. Now, I will tell you that when I use the print and stick target paper, this kind of a thing won't happen when I go to cut. It will stay stuck completely. And I will just tell you, the adhesive on the back of the print and stick target paper is fabric safe. It's non-toxic. When you're looking for fabric adhesives, if they say non-toxic, that's a good indication that they're fabric safe, okay? That means some of the chemicals that tend to hurt our fabrics over time might be okay right now, but over time, you're going to have a problem. So I just cut that a little off. Now I'm going to come in here and trim it up. There. And get rid of that. And then I have my next one. In fact, I need to do that a little bit better. Didn't get that quite good. There we go. And now my next template piece is done. Okay. So then I would just keep going until I've done all the pieces. So next, I'm going to look here at my fabric. Can I use that? Yeah, probably. I'm not going to get to go up to this edge, but I can come up to this edge right here and then keep going. That way I'm not wasting all of that little piece of fabric, because when you look at that, you think, oh, maybe that's wasted fabric right there. No way. I just stick that right back on there and I'm ready to go. So that's how easy it is to use your template stickers, and how you can use them either with your copy paper or with your print and stick target paper. So let's take that out and bring me back up. So I hope you found that helpful, especially if you're new to piecing in the hoop. Like I said at the beginning, when you piece in the hoop, you could just lay a flat piece of fabric down. It would need to be quite a bit bigger. You'd sew it down and then you would trim around it. But I really think that's a waste of your fabric. You do a lot better and get much cleaner looking squares when you do templates and do pre-cut pieces. It's just like when we do it on our sewing machine and we cut our fabric out. You know, we oftentimes we trim a little at the end, but those pieces are cut out. It's the same way with piecing in the hoop. I think that using your templates help you a lot more. Okay, everybody, again, I'm so glad that you all have joined me today. Again, please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I love it. And again, a huge thanks to all of our new subscribers and all of our subscribers that's been with us for a while. We love having you all with us. Again, please comment below if you'd like to start seeing some of my videos instead of in video format to start with, if you'd like to see them live, because I am more than happy to do a live, and that way I can answer your questions and stuff right here as we go. So as I tell you always, I know that you all are super creative people, and I want you to go out there and sew life beautiful. Fill it up with all of your beautiful quilts that you've pieced in the hoop of your embroidery machine. So until next time, go sew life beautiful, everybody. Bye for now.